lot that Africa is the future. Sometimes I wonder what this means. Does anyone here really understand what this means in practice? Well, I don't understand it fully myself. I do believe that, however, if Africa is going to become the future, it must first educate all of its children. If they are educated, then they are capable. If they are capable, then they are able. And if they are able, then they can be competitive. I hope some of you all agree with this.
Yes, absolutely.
For me, I believe in telling a positive African story. That way, our young generation can be inspired to do more, and so foreign investors can look again at coming to Africa. I tell these stories by making documentaries, and I also interview African political and business leaders, and I feature them as well to tell my African story as a 12-year-old. Some of those I've interviewed for my films are the presidents of Tanzania, Liberia, Kenya, South Sudan, Nigeria, Malawi, and Cape Verde. For business, I have interviewed my good friend, Mr. Aliko Dangote. Through my documentaries, these African political and business leaders are able to share their stories on how they are changing Africa for the future. So by doing this, I enable change to happen. So this is one way I am trying to contribute to the future development of Africa beyond its current potential. Now I know that whenever anyone talks about educating Africa's children, the first thing they say is, there is no money. But I don't want this to stop Africa's children, especially if we are the future. As some of you may know, UNESCO stated that as of 2011, 57 million children of primary school age and another 69 million children of lower secondary school age were out of school worldwide. And so, of course, that is a major problem. Now, because of these statistics, many people are saying that progress towards this year's 2015 Millennium Development Goals of universal primary education would not be met. For me, I believe that there are 3 ways we can educate Africa's current and future generations. They are 1, the human resources that are willing to teach, 2, the technology we are able to share, and 3, the relevant software to power the combination of all 3. And let me go into a little more detail about that. The Peace Corps Group, I'm sure most of you have heard of, is an establishment that was started in the United States in the 1960s by President John F. Kennedy, where basically it allows volunteers to travel overseas to various countries and share their knowledge, but specifically to educate children in developing countries. So, as you can see, we already have a ready army of volunteers. So that would cover the human resources, an army of teachers. Now, many of us have heard of the big computer giants, such as HP, Apple, and Lenovo. In parts of Africa, it is Xerox and Omatech. Now, these companies have strong CSR programs that would allow us to deliver computers for these educational projects. So that would cover the hardware. And then, of course, you have to have the software. And that's where software companies like SoftTribe would be able to develop software that allows distant learning, which is how me and my younger siblings attend school back home in Los Angeles, California. With these 3 components, along with compassion, dedication, and a serious commitment by our leaders and governments, I believe an impact can be made to increase the literacy of children on the African continent. Last year, I was invited to the State Department to share my ideas on girls' education in Africa and to also share my experiences with the 11 African presidents and prime ministers I have spoken with. This is moving beyond potential because African youth are being recognized for our work. I also met with the director of the Peace Corps group because I believe they already have a ready army of volunteers that make an early difference as we work to educate Africa's next generation. I am only one person, and I am just 12 years old. But I believe that there are many other children and youth out there with the potentials to transform Africa. What they are missing is a good education to help them start their journey to change Africa for the future.